We have on the screen the sign for Route 66. There's a reason. Don't panic. There's a reason why that is on there. To get our minds in gear. I don't know whether anybody here has ever traveled that road, but perhaps you've heard of it. It was established in November, this is November, of 1926. This is 2010. It was established in 1926 and it was paved in 1938. A little slow getting going there, all right? And it was actually removed from the maps in 1985. A lot of people have different pieces of memorabilia with reference to Route 66. What happened to it? Why is it no more? And there are bits and pieces of it that you can locate in different spots that you can connect with. What happened to it? It was called Main Street of America. It was called the Mother Road. It was named after Will Rogers Highway. And because it went off at an angle from Chicago to Los Angeles, it was called the Great Diagonal Way. Maybe you remember a television series in the 1960s, Route 66. Or maybe you know the song, Route 66. Get your kicks from Route 66. And perhaps you buy blue jeans that have that brand name. All right, it has significance. The question is, what happened to it? And that question is important for us this morning as we come to the message. It's this. Step by step, the towns along the way were bypassed. So you could have, replacing the one-lane road, multiple lanes going around the town. And ultimately, under the Eisenhower administration, there was a development of the interstate highway system. And so, the whole thing can be passed. You can drive from Chicago to Los Angeles without ever going into any of these towns. Why am I saying all this? Let's open our Bibles to Psalm 66. Psalm 66. Psalm 66 is a very significant psalm in the Scriptures. In the Eastern Church, the Orthodox Church, every Easter Sunday, the congregation recites this. They call it the Psalm of Resurrection. And their prayer is that the whole world community would get into the message of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I don't know, we would ask ourselves, when was the last time we read or looked at Psalm 66? What happened to it? This is what I suggest to you. We have learned to go fast. We have learned to skip over things. We have learned to look at some things that were important to generations in the past and bypass them, go around them, avoid them, never see them. It's possible if you were wanting to make a trip from Chicago to Los Angeles, that really after you made the trip, someone would ask you, how was your flight? But no one would ask you what you saw between Chicago and Los Angeles. It could be, being the way I'm wired, that if I was on a trip from Chicago to Los Angeles, I'd still be somewhere between Chicago and Los Angeles. Looking at everything, and just kind of meandering all around. And so there's a time and place to fast forward, all right? But there's a time for us to stop and say, wait a minute, what are we doing? We're bypassing everything. We're skipping over everything. Things that really are important, we're missing. So here's Psalm 66. This is the way it begins. Make a joyful shout to God, all the earth. Sing out the honor of his name. Make his praise glorious. Say to God, how awesome are your works. Through the greatness of your power, your enemies shall submit themselves to you. All the earth shall worship you and sing praises to you. They shall sing praises to your name. And sometimes we say Selah, and sometimes we don't say Selah. And I was at a pastor's conference, and there was a man that was a theologian, and he was having a Bible study, and he got to that word Selah, and he said, frankly, nobody knows what it means. Though I am positive I know what it means. But they didn't ask me to speak. We did talk at the lunch table about it. All right? And in a nutshell, it's a notation for you to pause and to reflect and to think over what has just been said. Unfortunately, if you say Selah, in a lot of places, you just have everybody pausing and reflecting over what Selah means. Right? What we need to reflect about is what has just been said. And it starts out this way. Make a joyful shout to God, all the earth. In the King James Version it says noise. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord. And I don't know about you, that always got me as to what that meant. In Psalm 100 it's like that. What does it mean to make a noise? A noise. And that set me on a little path of looking at some things here. The normal speaking voice really can handle and is measured at 25 to 35 decibels. Though I know people that are louder than that. The pain threshold is 120 to 135 decibels. Though some of us have a greater sensitivity to such things. Some of us have lost all sensitivity at all to it. What I want you to think about, what is noise? What are we talking about in Psalm 66? And it says that you and I are to make some noise. Rock concert speakers, 135 to 145 decibels. There'd be somebody here who would say that's why we shouldn't go to a rock concert. Right? Well, listen to is fireworks. Fireworks, 145 to 155 decibels. That's even louder. Right? With that is gunfire. Dragster races, 155 to 165 decibels. What are we talking about when we say we would make noise unto God? A space shuttle launch, 165, 175 decibels. Interesting, the call of the blue whale, 175, 185 decibels. I feel a screech in my head just saying it. But get this, in 1883, there was a volcano in Indonesia. And from reports around the world, the eruption of that volcano was heard for some 3,000 miles. That means it was approaching 200 decibels. And I am told that if you and I would experience 250 decibels, not only would our eardrums be pierced, but we would be shaken to pieces, our very selves.